Okay, I wrote this one on the board, so I'm doing this one first. So suppose I wanted to solve 3 minus 3 sine theta minus 2 cosine squared theta equals 0. Okay, so thoughts?
It looks like a quadratic.
It looks a little bit like a quadratic formula, right?
In reverse.
You guys see that? Like, I've got a number, and then kind of a variable-y thing, and then kind of a variable-y thing squared.
Yeah, it kind of looks like it matches.
But what? Why can't I just straight up use the quadratic formula?
Because it's
Different.
Yeah. Because this is cosine squared, and that's sine. So, do I have a way to turn cosine squared into sine, or sines into cosines?
yes.
Yes.
Yes. I have a way to turn which?
Cosine squared.
Cosine squared into sine squared.
Okay, so off to the side, I think to myself, sine squared plus cosine squared is 1, right? So cosine squared is 1 minus sine squared. Okay, so I make that substitution. So really I'm using the Pythagorean identity, right? So I got 3 minus 3 sine theta minus 2, and then a 1 minus sine squared theta is supposed to equal 0. Then what?
Distribute and
Okay, so we distribute over there, so I got 3 minus 3 sine theta minus 2
Minus 2 sine squared theta.
no.
Close.
Plus
plus 2 sine squared theta
Oh, because
equals 0. So that's a distribute, right? Then what?
combine if you really wanted to. You could.
Okay, combine like terms. So you get 1 minus 3 sine theta plus 2 sine squared theta is 0.
Yay. Gee whiz.
Okay, and then,
Rearrange.
Are we trying to find
You know,
theta?
I mean,
yeah, so we're trying to find theta.
Okay, so let's get that 1 off of the left side.
why?
You can factor it now, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so you could run the AC factor method on this,
Yeah.
or you can use the quadratic formula.
Yeah. AC factor.
Nice.
Done.
You guys want to be reminded about the AC factor method, or do you?
Yeah, what is that?
Good, I'm not
Okay, so the AC factor method is you look at this thing, right? And you really what I'm doing here kind of is I'm thinking about sine theta as a variable by itself. Right? And so I'm thinking to myself, okay, I want two numbers. They should multiply to
2.
a times c, which in this case is 2, right?
Add to negative 3.
And add to negative 3.
So -1.
So seems like -1, -2. Okay, so the way the AC factor method works is you split that middle term into those pieces. So that's really just a rewrite.
It usually
Yeah.
saves your life if you.
1 minus sine theta minus 2 sine theta plus 2 sine squared theta
And then factor.
equals 0, right? You guys see that?
I've never factored before.
You've never done that?
We did this
No,
earlier
I
this
remember
semester.
doing it, I just bullshit.
Okay, so
It's like I
So-
can't remember how to do all that stuff.
out of this pair, you just leave because there's no common anything between 1 and minus sine theta, right? But out of this pair, there's a what?
Two sides.
There's a 2 and a sine, right? So you factor, and you're left with a 1 minus sine theta, out of which I've really factored a 1.
Yeah.
And then on the other guy, I've got a plus 2, and there's a minus, oops, plus 2. What am I idioting?
It's minus
Side
2.
Or minus. Minus 2.
Okay, you want to figure out a minus 2?
What am I idiot?
Okay, so if you factor out a minus 2 and also what?
A sine.
Yeah, there's also a sine theta there. What are you left with?
1.
One minus
a 1 minus sine theta.
Yeah.
Okay, and that's still equal to 0.
And then combine the two outside coefficients.
Yeah, and then these are the things you're counting. You've got one of them, and then somebody took 2 sine theta of them away. Right? So there's all told a 1 minus sine theta. Right, that's the things you're counting. And then how many of those are there?
1 minus, yeah,
So there's a 1 minus 2 sine theta of them.
equals 0.
use the zero product rule.
Yeah.
Good, so this equals 0, right? So that was a factor again. Then you zipper this thing, right? Hit it with the zero product rule. So you get 1 minus sine theta is 0, or 1 minus 2 sine theta is 0.
So there's a pi over 2, or
Just worry about plus or minus.
pi over
Yeah, I got to worry about all the angles for this, right? So on this guy, I'm getting sine theta is 1, right? After you add sine theta to both sides.
Negative
And on this guy, you
I
want
was thinking the
to
same thing, yeah.
algebra.
That's easy.
get sine theta is 1/2, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so now I need all the angles that have a sine of 1 or a sine of 1/2. What?
Sine of 1 is just negative 1/2?
No.
Yeah, negative sine.
I subtracted 1 and then divided by -2. Okay, so now I need to go find all these angles, right? Okay, so unit circle. Which one's the sine side?
Why?
So if this is a theta, the vertical side
Opposite, yeah.
is sine theta, and this is 1. Okay. Okay, so when is the vertical side actually equal to 1?
Pi over 2.
Pi over 2
Or 3 pi over. No,
And-
just kidding.
plus 2 pi.
3 pi over
That's
2 is
-1.
minus 1, right?
Yeah.
So I just need the pi over 2's.
Plus 2 pi.
Yep.
Yeah.
2 pi.
2 pi n.
So this would be pi over 2 plus
2 pi.
2 pi n, and maybe I'll throw a minus sign in there. Right? And n is a whole number,
Yeah. Is that W? Yeah.
big fat W.
Big
Cool.
fat
So that gives me some of them, and the others come from when sine of theta is 1/2. So when's sine of theta 1/2?
Pi over 6.
I don't remember. How do you figure it out?
I don't know.
Triangle, which one?
36 and 90.
Good, yeah, go chart out your 30, 60, 90 triangle. So you make a 60 triangle, right? That's 2 2 2's. And then you cut it in half. So this is a pi over 3, and I cut it in half, so that's a pi over 6, and that's a right angle. You guys all remember this trick? Okay, so where's the opposite over the
Pi over 6.
pi over 6? Cool, so at the very least this is at pi over 6's, right?
Plus or minus 2 pi.
Okay, and then I need a plus or minus 2 pi n.
And then also something going to
You guys see that?
Wait.
Also,
One more time.
that vertical side is 1/2, right?
Oh, yeah, yeah.
In the second quadrant. So what's that angle?
Isn't it negative though?
No.
It's pi minus
It's still vertical, right? So it's still pointing
yeah,
up.
yeah.
But
It's
that's
pi minus pi over 6.
pi minus pi over 6.
Yeah.
So that's 5 pi over 6's. So I also have 5 pi over 6 plus or minus 2 pi n.
So you can
And
just write
n
all
is
of those.
whole numbers.
You write pi over 2.
Wait, you can just write pi over 6 plus pi.
Pi over 6 plus pi. Pi.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
No. No. Pi over 6 plus pi is, no, is 7 pi over 6. No, it's not here. Right, it's 180 degrees. So that would be this one.
Huh.
So I think you really do need all 3 of these.
Could you write,
So your
pi over
whole-
2, comma, pi over 6, comma, 5 pi over 6, all
Plus or minus,
plus or
sure.
minus.
Yeah, make some.
Like, just to combine it a little bit more. It's really not that hard, it's just,
No, this is a super cool problem. It's fun. I wish I'd thought of it.
Doesn't A?
What? Where?
No, A.
Oh,
yeah, put that one on the front, please, yeah.
I don't know. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
To get all the answers, probably. There's a lot of stuff you have to remember how to do, right?
Yeah.
Like, you have to remember how to factor. You could also do this whole part, right? From this guy here
Don't, I don't know.
to this guy here, right? That jump can also be made with the quadratic formula.
That sounds,
But how?
that sounds really bad.
So figure out what your A, B, and C are, right? So your A is 2, your B is 3, negative 3, and your C is 1, right? And then you're not solving for X, you're solving for sine theta. So then you'll get these. That might actually be a faster way.
Really? Oh, because wouldn't you get your x's, wouldn't they be more like degrees instead of radians? Like you get a square root or something if you're using the, with that one at the end. Or not that.
Oh, they'll come out
Quadratic.
to this exact same thing.
Oh, okay.
Cool? Questions, Steels? About this?
Yeah.
Yeah, what?
If I said the part about rewriting it.
Oh, this rewrite here?
Yeah.
So that's me doing the AC factor method. So the AC factor method starts with this. Okay, so you've got this thing that looks like a quadratic. You multiply A times C, and then you look for a pair of numbers that multiplies to that A times C, and also adds to that middle number.
Okay.
And then you rewrite that middle term in terms of what you just found.
Found.
So I was looking for two numbers that multiply to 2 and add to negative 3.
Okay.
I thought of negative 1 and negative 2. And so I split that minus 3 sine thetas into a minus sine theta and a minus 2 sine theta.
Okay.
Right, so I'm literally just rewriting the middle term in two pieces. And then I did that in such a way that it'll factor nicely. Cool? The quadratic formula is also a super good option there. Cool? Questions, Steels? Okay.